afternoon. This is Ronald Bird with Style Speaks with another edition of a fantastic episode. This is our first edition this year. 2015 has proved to be a lot going on for Style Speaks, the brand. We have Proof, the model actor program going on, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that soon. But I'm really pleased to announce the first segment, the month of February here in 2015. And I have a really special guest that I wanted to kick this off with. He's a designer. He's got a lot of things going on, but I'm going to let him tell you about what he's got going on. Mr. Mohammed Numan?
Yeah.
All right, nice. Okay, Numan.
Numan is actually more, funny that you say that, it's actually more proper as far as the pronunciation.
Okay.
And when it comes to, like the actual name in Arabic, but, it just sounds, not anyone can say that. So Numan has become just the easy way to say it. Okay,
so well, actually, I don't want easy. I want correct. I'm not one of these lazy people where I want the easy way out or whatever.
No, I'm actually, kudos, man. But, cool points, man.
Okay, cool points. Okay, I could use a point or two. Although I'm already cool, though. I don't need that many, but I'll take a few. But anyway, nice to have you here talking to me. I really appreciate you taking out some time in your afternoon on this beautiful Saturday. It's not the sunniest of days, but, it's a beautiful day nonetheless.
Absolutely. I enjoy it. Thank you for having me. Pleased to be here.
Well, tell everybody where you're from. Where you from, man?
You know what? It depends what you look at it from.
Well, where were you born? I know that's a loaded question for a lot of people because they've moved around, and some people kind of interpret that question, where you from, as like where you spent most of your life or where you live now. But where were you born? Let's make it more specific, and then you can kind of...
Cool. So I was born in Yemen, in the Middle East. Not a common place to be born in, especially these days.
Okay.
But in any case, I came here with the family. 9 years old, kind of moved around, lived in California in the Bay Area, and I lived in the Detroit metro area, and finally came
Detroit,
here.
all right, Detroit.
Yeah,
the Motor City, Detroit.
Yeah.
Motown, all right now. Doo-wop. Okay, I'm stopping.
So, then came here to the DC area. So I've been here for the longest period of time, you know what I mean?
How long you been here?
I would say since 2000.
Okay.
99 actually. Since 99. So it's been a minute.
Yeah.
16 years.
Well, what brought you to the Washington metropolitan area, if I can ask?
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I really had no choice at that point. Just came with the family. My mom wanted us to come here because there wasn't much really going on in the Detroit metro area.
Okay.
And,
they're building a lot of things going on in that city.
Yeah. I mean, Michigan in itself. I think that's where they're filming the new Batman movie because they're just trying to bring in business because it's dead.
Right.
Absolutely. So came here and just been here for the most part. I still on the Virginia side, and I guess this is home. You know what I'm saying? But I've been around with so many places. For me, I can't see myself living in one place permanently.
Well, this is home now, but we're not going to say this is where you're going to be forever. You're a young man, so you may want to travel and do some things. Well, tell me, based on where you were actually born, and it's interesting when I talk to models and designers and people in the fashion industry. It's interesting, and you're definitely a creative designer. I guess I wanted to get into how does a boy from your upbringing, your background, get into fashion and designing? I mean, how does that mix?
That's a good question.
Thank you for saying so.
No, actually, it's a great question because it's not a typical story in a sense. Right. But I come from a line as far as my dad's side of the family. They come whether they're very involved much in the arts, whether it's literature, poetry. My father's an architect engineer, so...
Are we getting his face? I want you to I want you to look into the camera sometimes when you talk. So
okay.
I want people to not just get your profile. I want them to see your answer.
So my father's an architect engineer, but with him, growing up, seeing him, he was so meticulous.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would spend hours literally, drawing a blueprint out. And this is before AutoCAD, before, the whole computer. So he would sit there, literally, he would take a blank sheet of transparent paper, multiple layers, and he would draw every single thing you see by hand and with a set of pens. And so with him it was an art. And seeing that, I guess that definitely inspired me just to be in the arts. And so even from a young age, I drew a lot.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When it came to like,
was it always, apparel, clothing? You just drew anything, or was it always fashion?
It was always one type of form of the art or the other. Even like in high school, I used to break dance. So it was always one type of.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah. So,
all right.
So it was always one type of form in high school.
You're lucky we don't have no cardboard over there. Let's find a little cardboard
or
box.
linoleum. So linoleum.
Right. We outside.
Yeah. So it was always one form of the other. And to this day, like I love all types of arts. You know what I mean? So even when it comes to like writing music or poetry, in one shape or form, like I always enjoy that. So I guess fashion was just another thing that I saw myself. Getting myself into.
Okay.
And
so that was the creative side. So I kind of know where that kind of derived from, and who were your influences in that way. And you obviously had some of your own creativeness inside. But what about fashion? How did that kind of take over for you to actually kind of turn into this this major designer and just want to do clothing?
That's also an interesting story because a lot of times things start and you don't plan them.
Right.
It just kind of grows and you see yourself, and then just the vision. You get these inspirations and ideas. And so, for me, really, I started Top Rank Vintage in a sense by accident because I went, like it was a couple of years ago. I got this winter coat. I don't know where I got it from. It was just some obscure place, but I got this winter coat from what used to be East Germany, like East German, like wool overcoat.
Okay.
And it was crazy because it was the first winter that I was warm. So I'm like, wow, what a crazy idea. They made a coat that kept you warm. What a crazy idea, right?
Right.
Because all the stuff these days is just so poorly made.
Right.
And so then I started kind of,
doesn't always make sense.
Yeah. So when I started wearing it, I started seeing the military style in all the different fashion and the whole fashion business. So then it got me curious, and I started researching where did this come from? Where is all this whole military style coming from?
Okay.
And then I saw that it came from different European militaries.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, I started researching. I'm like, is it possible to actually get authentic but fashionable, authentic garments? In not a used condition, in maybe hopefully a variety of sizes, in a small lot of some sort. Not just one, not a single piece here and there.
Right.
And after a year of research, the answer was yes. And initially, I just did it funny because I'm like, maybe it's a quick way to make some money, pay off some debt. Ended up getting myself in more debt, but for a good reason.
Right.
And then the vision just grew, And then the first thing was. I wasn't necessarily doing most of the designing. My first talent really came to curating and resourcing this stuff. And then I started getting into the design aspect when I saw that there were some things that were well made, but they just looked like nothing. So that's when I started like, you know what, I could like get back to this.
Well, I noticed a lot of, that's a lot of, what you work with. Definitely your muse is that whole artistic, that whole military kind of infusion, and how you kind of cut the fronts out, and I've seen your line, and I've seen how creative you've gone, and I like it because a nice wool coat, and that whole military look is really kind of fashionable right now. It's really trending with the double-breasted buttons and all that kind of fancy stuff, and and the epaulets and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
That was back in the day. Folks don't even know what those are, but I really like what you've done creatively. With your line, for men and for women, but it's an interesting story to hear how that kind of came to be, and obviously you're here in a military style jacket today.
Yeah.
So is that just your personal? Is that just your own personal kind of look? Do you ever deviate outside of that look? Do you just like drop? Okay, I'm not giving that today or whatever. I'm not.
You know what?
Because I've seen you in suits. I've seen you in suits.
Exactly. And so. I've always.
But it's your signature, I think.
I think so. Or sometimes you'll see me like suited up, and for me, like that's another thing that I always loved to dress. Like by the time I was like 21, I had like 50 ties.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm very meticulous as far as that.
I know some grown 30-somethings that don't even own a tie. So it's amazing.
Yeah. So that's also another thing. that I started also doing is because I loved suits and you know, especially the way things have to look. I'm very meticulous, especially when it comes to shirt collars. Like, I'm very detail oriented, and that inspired me to actually start working a few months ago. I started next to Top Rank Vintage, Top Rank Tailor.
Okay.
Which is basically getting a custom-made garment that minimum would cost you $900, $1,000. I could get it done. You know, I offer it at $325 for a custom-made. I'm talking about something like, you know, made from scratch. Build a bear for grown-ups, I like to say.
All right, all right. Well, we ain't quote no prices here on my show. I'm gonna have to get me a little piece of that action now. Oh, I know, just kidding. No. Well, that's wonderful, man. I mean, you know, and I thought you'd be a great. Well, obviously, you definitely don't have a problem in communicating what works for you and your passion, and I can see the enthusiasm and the passion in your clothing, and I can definitely hear it in your voice. And this is one of the things that I like to recognize in people, because, you know, based on the fact that you just like clothes and you're a designer, everybody kind of has a story.
Yeah.
And you look like you had a story to tell, and I think I was pretty right.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
I think I was pretty right that you had definitely an interesting story. Well, let everybody know before we close up. Let everybody know like what you're working on now, and you know, cut it down to a couple of seconds. What you're working on now, and where we can find your stuff and all that good stuff.
Right now, was just you know, showcase the Crystal Couture, showcase a few items that I've been working on, more you know, garments that I redesigned. So you could basically find us on shoprankvintage.com or Passport Boutique, which is off U Street and 11th, not too far from here. My friend owns the boutique. I've got a few pieces that I have in his shop. And for the custom made, the Top Rank Tailor, topranktailor.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you, I mean, is there something that we should look forward to? I mean, do you have any shows coming out, or what's going on for the spring and summer? You got anything that you may not want to, you know, talk about that so soon, but is there any little, you know, special announcements?
Yeah. Actually, might be putting out actually like a whole line, a t-shirt collection called Flags of Our Fathers.
Okay.
Which is basically flag-inspired shirts for slaves. So I've been working on that, so I might put that out there. And I'm searching still for a couple of pieces to do for the spring. I've already worked. Actually, I already got 2 I'm working on.
Okay.
But we'll see. I don't know if there's a show coming soon, but I know I've been invited to a few.
Okay.
So I'm still considering the options. You got to be careful with your time, because sometimes you'll go to shows and...
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's a waste of
Oh,
time,
absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time this afternoon, man. I really do. You were definitely as interesting as I thought you would be.
Thank you.
I already know somebody who know you, and he said you was a piece of work. But actually, he didn't say that. Well, this is Ronald Bird with another edition of Style Speaks, and until the next time, we'll see you soon.